What advice would you have for a preteen who's struggling to get along with her bonus mother because she feels threatened? I don't feel qualified to answer this question, being that I'm not a mother. But for me, what it really took for me, because I did not want to talk to Coach Nyla, was her actually talking to me and for me to get a feel of her and to watch her body language and to see if she was genuine or not in her love for us. So not being around her made things worse, but being around her, even though I didn't want to, really helps. So she first talked to me when my father and mother went out on a business trip. She also knew. She invited me to go to the store because we did need groceries. I had zero plans of asking anything of her. I didn't want to talk to her at all. So when she texted me, I almost texted my dad and said, "What is this about? Get your wife." But I didn't. For me, I do think it'd be way more natural because Suleiman, I'm gonna pass him the mic in a minute. He was kind of just born into it, so he just got along with everybody. He was between both houses. He was very neutral. It was just his life. So yeah, of course.
I would say it's very good to show them polygyny as soon as they're like born. Before you have kids, yeah, yeah, obviously. Like we have younger brothers and stuff. They find it natural. They're at this house one day, playing in the backyard, next house here, in the park somewhere, doing something else. It's natural. They knew each other since birth. Very good. And anyway, yeah, it's very natural for them. They'll feel like a whole bond, a whole family, especially with the younger brothers, because they'll follow in the footsteps of their older ones as they get older and eventually have families of their own. Allahu alam if they do. But eventually, yeah, it's great for them. I recommend it highly.
He said 5 stars. But yes, I also agree. It is much more, definitely much more natural, as you know what I'm saying, as just about anything else would be. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like being used to it in that age of, I'm still trying to find out a way to call it, but I would say like age of receiving information. But being, I beg your pardon? Yes. But growing up at that, you know what I'm saying, at that point where, you know what I'm saying, everything that we see is just it's noodle, so eventually it just becomes normal, you know what I'm saying? As opposed to coming across it once a mindset is already set on how it is before, you know. But yeah.
Yeah, it definitely would be more natural. Because again, even though I was 8 years old, I do remember how the house was before polygyny. Always had it was super long days. Oh my god! I just remember mainly father was always home, mom was always home, everybody was always. So when he started, going other house to come here, other house here. Not to say that he wasn't available when we needed him. It was kind of like okay, he's gone, and then he'd be back. So I think that if you're considering, especially as a couple before having children, and you want to be into polygyny, I do recommend that. I think it's just natural. You're born into some sort of lifestyle. I think just by human nature, it'll just come to you, and this is something you were born with. Kind of similar to Islam, like you're born into Islam, the lifestyle, way of your dress, everything. So I'd say it's pretty natural.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, thank you. We're trying. I'm glad. Allahu Akbar. For me, no. I feel like when I was a teenager, my father would leave the house. I feel like men need to leave the house. Women need to leave the house sometimes. Children need to leave the house. Different environment. I personally, right now, at this age, would be miserable if everybody was in the house at the same time. As long as I know my father is safe, protected, and secure, I have zero feelings about him leaving the house. Like he's doing what he's got to do. He's responsible. He's alive. He's safe. That's what it was for me, at least.
I'm gonna be honest. I would not want to be in the same house. I need my own space for my own siblings. So it's like I can't imagine being in the same house. It's just everybody there. That's crazy to me. I couldn't do. I couldn't do that. A lot of people are like you live in the same house. We do not live in the same house. We're separate houses, have our own spaces, and we do what we need to do. So for me, it wouldn't really alleviate the feelings. Like Kai said, I'd be miserable. So alhamdulillah, that did not.
I second on the personal bubble. Like, you know what I'm saying? The older I've gotten, the more of my need to have some time to myself to, you know what I'm saying, to evaluate and contemplate on certain to evaluate, contemplate on certain things, and, you know what I'm saying? There's times where I feel that it's natural for any human being to take some time alone for the sake of being a better person when we do project ourselves in front of whether the public or whether, you know what I'm saying, in the house, our own siblings, we do need time to, you know what I'm saying, to kind of recharge ourselves, you know? So yeah.
All right, I'll be miserable with that. I believe everyone needs self isolation once in a while or a lot. Bro, but we have young boys. We have like a 3-year-old, 5-year-old, 8-year-old, 9-year-old. If that baby was running around in the house every day, all fat smooth stuff, no, I think everyone needs personal space. We have 2 houses. It's fine like that. We all get to see each other. And I don't recommend living in one house unless it's fine for you, but
What advice would you have for a preteen who's struggling to get along with her bonus mother because she feels threatened? I don't feel qualified to answer this question, being that I am not a mother. But for me, what it really took for me, because I did not want to talk to Coach Nyla, was her actually talking to me and for me to get a feel of her and to watch her body language and to see if she was genuine or not in her love for us. So not being around her made things worse, but being around her, even though I didn't want to, really helps. So she first talked to me when my father and mother went out on a business trip. She also knew. She invited me to go to the store because we did need groceries. I had zero plans of asking anything of her. I didn't want to talk to her at all. So when she texted me, I almost texted my dad and said, "What is this about? Get your wife." But I didn't. So she talked to me in a close place. We talked in the car while she drove, and she kind of told me that she wasn't there to be my mom because that was something I was really concerned about. I was like, I don't need a mom because my parents aren't divorced. So, and I was also at an age where like I was a teenager, so I didn't want like 2 moms or anything. So she kind of just clarified why she was there, why she did what she did, who she was, and just having the ability to talk to her by myself, not with anybody else there, is what really helped me actually want to talk to Coach Nyla. Because before then, it was my opinion of her started to be really shaped around other people's opinions. But after I got to genuinely know her and get to talk to her privately in a private area, which was car, but just to have those moments and to do something neutral like grocery shopping, something easy, it made things a lot more welcoming for me at least. So I think getting your daughter or your child, I don't remember if it was a daughter or son, your daughter to talk to her privately where she can freely express herself towards the other wife respectfully. Because even though I didn't talk to Coach Nyla, I didn't talk back to her. I didn't say anything slick to her. I didn't roll my eyes. I didn't huff and puff. If she spoke to me, I spoke to her. It wasn't anything like that. But just respectfully express herself towards the second wife. I think that would really help without the presence of a mother or of a father. I think she'd be more open just to get to know who she was, even if she was standoffish. Because Sister Nyla, Coach Nyla was just talking to me and talking to me and talking to me, and I didn't say a word until she was like, "Do you have anything to say?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then I just kind of unloaded. And then that from there, that's when I really started to get along with her, just having a private moment where she spoke to me genuinely by myself with no parental guidance.
I feel this ties into the subject of change, where we too busy focused on the bad, or we focus on the negative side of things, when in all actuality is a false fear, where it's like I would say this. I'll say the easier. I mean, it would be much more easier the sooner we open up. I mean, the sooner, you know what I'm saying, you open up. And I mean, like, you know what I'm saying, on both sides. It's only, you know what I'm saying, I feel like it'll make it much more, I would say convenient, like much more convenient, much more easier to, because that's what it's gonna tie to. The fear of, you know what I'm saying, the adrenaline, at least for lack of a better word, of, you know what I'm saying, of trying, or, you know what I'm saying, of entering this different, new, and, you know what I'm saying, path that's not taken, or at least the stage is not taken. Right, before things get bad. And then, you know what I'm saying? Because regret is way longer. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Think of a better word, man. This might make me nervous.
Okay, I will say this. I watch them and edit them. So I know all that they're speaking of, and I do recommend it. And I think for some people that have joined late, they should check out their videos on polygyny mistakes, because my parents have acknowledged what they have done and things they'd want to change, as well as Coach Nyla. So I highly recommend that. But do I watch it on a consistent daily basis outside of editing? Not necessarily. But I do recommend for people to check it out just to get a better understanding and grasp, because they have not ignored our concerns, and they do acknowledge that they have made mistakes on all ends, from my mother to my father to Coach Nyla. So for me, that's that.
I agree with Fatima. Even when they do their lives, I try to watch them, even though sometimes I'm at work. I just like to see their raw reactions to certain questions, because it feels like I get to know them better, even though I literally live with Coach Nazir and Coach Fatima. It's nice to see Coach Nyla's perspective of things, or even my parents, or what they were going through, because they don't sit down and they're like, you know how I felt when this happened. Do you know I really felt like that? So it's just nice to see them talking to everybody else and letting them know how they feel.
Yeah. And as for me, there's times where I'm busy during the lives. However, when there are times where I will see it and I'll click on it and I'll listen to it. And I mean, not that I watch it a lot, or that I've seen each and every one, because, you know what I'm saying, this they're my family. So if there's any questions regarding this matter, I can talk to them. It's, you know what I'm saying, they're easily accessible for me to talk to. But when it comes with, do recommend it? Most definitely. When there's when there's any problems between people who I know within my circle, no matter where I'm at, concerning relationships, period, here is where I direct them to. Because it's, you know what I'm saying, it's so many, yes, it's definitely. Exactly. Exactly.
I mean, sometimes I will come. I'll come with them when they film, but sometimes I'll just read a book. But I highly recommend all their stuff. Subscribe. I'm saying to Muslim parents.
Drop a
All right. Was there a parent any more resistant to change? That was resistant to change. Yes. I feel like if you're an initial wife and a second wife comes in and you have children, you're going to be a little resistant about who's around your children. Well, what I do think helped, I'm not going to speak on my mother's behalf, but from what I've seen and what I perceive, is what helped was just having us children spend time with the other children and the secondary wife, and us kind of coming home and telling her, like, we had a fantastic time. She's a great person. Nothing's weird. Like, we get along. So I think that's I think that's kind of what helped my mother. I can't really speak on her behalf, but that's what I think.
So about being resistant to change, I'll also bounce off of what Rakaya mentioned. being perceived at 8 years old. Something I really noticed about my mother is just being concerned who we'd spend time with. Because again, like I said, we weren't properly introduced. So by spending time with who we then call step siblings and then go up to level bonus siblings, we slowly began to build this bond through years. So I would say don't compare how we are today and think that that's how we were before because it took us a very long time to get to where we are now. And for me, I think it was just really spending time and showing her how we can get along and how we connect. But again, I won't be speaking on her behalf because I do not know her perspective, but this is coming from the eyes of a then, let's say, 10-year-old when we started to communicate.
I can't really say. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? I can't really speak much on it because, you know what I'm saying?
My father, he wanted to try to make things easier, but he was met with a lot of resistance and a lot of pushback and a lot of emotions and a lot of sadness. So what he did, though, I do remember distinctly, was that he wasn't trying to force them on us, but he did have this strange sense of, I don't want to say guilt, but it was kind of guilt because everybody was sad all the time. So, and he did try to make us feel better. Like he'd buy us roses and stuff and be really sweet and very patient while we were trying to go through this. So he did make it easier. It's kind of like he made it easier, but he also made it difficult at the same time. 'Cause, like he didn't know how to communicate when she was, let's say when she was pregnant, he didn't know how to communicate that because we were already sad about the second wife. So it's kind of like he kind of made it easier, but he also made it harder. But it wasn't on purpose. So I think his main goal was to make things easier. And I do think if he had a little more guidance, it would have went better. But we're not going to dwell on the past. But I can say he did try to make things easier. So during my teenage years, he really went above and beyond for us children, at least, to try to ease things onto us.
I'm agreeing with Akaya. My father definitely didn't force them on us. He wasn't bringing them to the house every day. The instant that we learned that he didn't introduce us in 2 seconds, though I would say sooner the best to be introduced. The best thing that he had done, in my opinion, I was little, is that he didn't introduce everybody and just, you just force. Like that's how it is. That's your sibling now. This one too. All of them. You gotta start calling them your siblings too. And I'm like, I was little too. So I'd say the best thing that he did was not force them on us. And another thing was being very even with his time. Because I remember when I was little and I didn't know that he was in polygyny, I thought he was going out and he slept in the office and he came back home. I always thought he would go to work, he'd sleep at work at a desk, and he'd come home. I was 8. I was 8 years old. I was like, when is he coming back? So when I started learning the times and stuff, it was like, oh, he's going to spend equal time with us. He's not spending more time here and likes them more and will come here for a shorter time, so on and so forth. Because I was little, I had a really good understanding, I think, like all children do. So it's really just not forcing it on us and being even with his time. And could he have done better? Yeah, he acknowledges that we all acknowledge everybody could have done better. But those are the two biggest things for me.
I don't really got much to say on that. I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? One thing that I would say is, you know what I'm saying, it wasn't, yeah, like I said, it wasn't forced. However, it was implemented at a certain pace where we would, yeah, where we were able to adapt to it. You know what I'm saying? Where, you know what I'm saying, for us to adapt to it, it wasn't mad quick. Like I said, maybe at the doorstep, ding dong ditch type stuff. You know what I'm saying? But it was, like I said, it was implemented at, what I'm saying, at a certain pace where we all gradually, it was gradual. I mean, what I'm saying, it was gradual. And we all, what I'm saying, shoot, look at us now. What I'm saying, we chilling, we cool, having a good time. That's,
Coach Nazir here. As I've been here. Yeah, so prayerfully, you got some good advice, some direction, some perspective, because again, usually there are a lot of hallucinations about, oh, just tearing families apart or doing this, and oh my God, the trauma that they're raised in, and it's just the people and how do they handle it, and the low self-esteem and all the pity parties and all the rest of that type of stuff. But again, if you are looking at being pro-moral and practicing what we consider the most natural form of marriage, which is polygyny. Yeah, not anti-monogamy, but just pro-morals. But if you're looking at doing so, this is the only poly form that is family-based. All right, that's family-driven. So, it's not polyamory, it's not polyandry, any of those things. And people are going to do whatever they want to do, and that's their business. But we're talking about polygyny, we're talking about building families. We know that is the nucleus, that's the foundation of all societies. All right, and we have to learn and grow at the same time. I learned some stuff today that I didn't know about preference for polygyny and stuff like that from you. So, just to let y'all know as an audience, I do not want any inboxes, any emails, or anything like that talking about my daughter. All right? Yeah. I'm just, the world is watching. The world is watching. So yeah, don't oh, your daughter's single. No, I don't want resumes and CVs and all this type of stuff, and new brothers trying to come to the city and ease up at the masjid, pray next to us or something. No, this ain't that. They were sharing some information about polygyny and their different perspectives and stuff like that. So prayerfully, y'all appreciate it. We do appreciate you as well. This was done right after, again, as I mentioned at the beginning, after Coach Nyla and Coach Fatimah finished their RMIC training. So if you want to go deeper, as we intend to go deeper, and we're not intending on sharing this with social media today, again, with something special in our freemium member area where we do special events and private streams like that for people that are free. But we also have our premium content as well that goes a lot deeper with worksheets and trainings and downloads and get us live, and they get more access directly to us as coaches and handle their situations. Just to let you know, we don't just go and take phone calls and have conversations and everything else. We're about transformation and really getting to the next level of life and living at a higher level. So we can't, the amount of inboxes and DMs and emails and all the stuff we get just in general, we like to address during different Q&As and stuff like that when we do, but it's impossible to do that and still raise your family and be intentional with your family and enjoy life without it being a burden. So we don't want it to be a burden. We want to be that change that we want to see in the world with outstanding personal relationships. And if you want to support us in that cause and you want to live life at a higher level or practice polygyny or really just have a stronger marriage to begin with, then I would suggest going to outstandingpersonalrelationships.com/RM and joining our OPR Relationship Mastery Inner Circle or outstandingpersonalrelationships.com/store. Because some of you may benefit strongly from our 5-day successful marriage challenge that we have as well for the King's Edition or the Queen's Edition. Nevertheless, look for more information from us. This is like a long commercial, but we appreciate you being here. We're going to go ahead and sign out, continue our day. And with that, we're going to end with some GLC. Y'all know what that means, right?
I added this a bunch of times. Wait a minute.
What is it?
Wait a minute. Oh, shoot. Give me the first word. Okay. Grow intentionally. Love fearlessly and connect on a higher level every single day. We are now signing out. So, assalamu alaikum.
Here are 3 ways outstanding personal relationships can help you.
One is by following us on our social medias. Follow us on IG at Outstanding Relationships and on Facebook and YouTube at Outstanding Personal Relationships. And make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell.
Number 2, make sure you head over to outstandingpersonalrelationships.com and subscribe to the email list. From there, you will get downloads as well as updates, any and all updates. And you also get an update on the release of our new book, Let's Talk Polygyny, Uncensored.
Number 3, if you are serious about polygyny relationships and really developing fulfillment and happiness, make sure you register for our Relationship Mastery Inner Circle, which is members only, which includes downloads, it includes access to us live on a weekly basis. So that's at outstandingpersonalrelationships.com/RM. We'll see you soon. Assalamu alaikum.
Peace.